I was born and raised in Pakistan. I've never been to an English speaking country, yet I don't sound Indian or Pakistani. I sound American when I speak. If you're someone who is not in the USA and you want to get rid of your local accent and learn the American one, this video is for you. I'm going to share with you my entire accent learning method which I've been using for the last 4 years. So let's dive in. When I started learning English, I had this very thick local Pakistani accent, and every time I would try to talk to someone, they would pick on me for it. Sometimes people would laugh at me or they would just end the conversation and leave. At that time, I didn't really know why they were doing this. I thought my English was very bad. That's why people didn't like speaking with me. But later, I realized that it was my accent. Some people didn't understand my accent at all, and the ones who did understand didn't like it. So I was like, okay, I have to improve my accent. I need to get rid of my local Pakistani accent and learn a native foreign accent like the British or the American one. I searched a lot on YouTube to find a method that I could use, but everyone was talking about the same thing: the shadowing technique. I think it's a great method for improving your pronunciation and your accent. I tried it as well, but honestly, it seemed very complicated. I didn't really enjoy it, and it just made my whole English learning journey more frustrating. So I stopped shadowing and instead I followed a 3-step method which I'm going to show you. I like to call this the triangle method. Why? Because it has 3 steps, just like the triangle has 3 sides, and also it just sounds cool, right? When you combine and follow all of these 3 steps, I guarantee your accent will improve by 80 to 90%. So let's start with the first step. Have you ever wondered why kids born in the USA tend to have the American accent, while kids born in the UK tend to have the British accent, even if their parents are from Pakistan? Well, you guessed it right. It's all about the environment. The accent you get exposed to the most, you will acquire. If you had gotten exposed to British English in the childhood, you would have a British accent now. It's that simple. Well, does that mean you have to be born in a specific area to acquire their accent? Not necessarily. You can still learn an accent even if you're not born there, even if you don't live there, as long as you do one thing right, which is getting exposed to that accent. The internet has made this process easier. You can sit in your home country and watch like a 3-hour long podcast where 2 native speakers sit and talk about a topic. Therefore, the first step of this method is to alter your inputs. Let's say you want to learn the American English. Cool, subscribe to American YouTubers, watch interviews and podcasts in this accent, watch movies and TV shows in it. This is how you expose yourself to an accent, and in my opinion, this is the first and most important step towards learning an accent. Let's talk about the second step of this method. Keep this in mind. Only listening is not enough to acquire an accent. If it was, then everyone who watched Hollywood movies would have an American accent, which is not the case. Some people think that if they just lay in their bed, play a YouTube video in the background while thinking about something else, they will learn an accent, but that does not work. Yes, listening and exposure is important, but without concentration and focus, it is not enough. That's why the second step of this method is to pay close attention when listening. This is how you learn the little details and the pronunciation quirks which makes your accent different than the one you have now. For instance, if you're watching a movie, you need to pay 100% attention to how the actors speak, how they pronounce different words and sounds, how they use connected speech, how they use their voice and tonality, and also you need to pay attention to the vocabulary differences as well. If this sounds too complex to you now, that's okay. You will learn these things naturally. Holistically, all you have to do when you're listening to the accent you want to learn is be focused on how they say and articulate the sounds. That's it. Once you pay close attention to these details, slowly and gradually you will pick these things and they will become a part of how you speak. Let's move on to the third and final step of the triangle method. The first 2 steps were kind of input based. You had to change what you were listening to, and you had to pay close attention to what you're listening to. Your brain is actually very smart. Only these 2 steps are enough for your brain to learn an accent. But it is one thing to understand and learn an accent mentally, but it's a completely different story speaking with it correctly. When I started to improve my speaking, I noticed that I could speak with the perfect American accent in my mind. But when I would open my mouth and talk, I would still sound Pakistani. If that happens to you as well, here is my advice. You need to fake it till you make it. What that means is, through listening, when you learn something new, let's say you learned the flap T sound in the American accent, like in the word butter, then use this flap T sound as much as you can in your conversations. And not just this sound, everything you learned through listening and through paying close attention, use it as much as you can. Practice it in your speaking. Yes, it won't sound perfect, you will make mistakes, and it might sound as if you're faking it, but it's a process everyone goes through. When you're learning an accent, you have to copy others, you have to try to sound like them until you discover your own voice and personality. So every time you hear something new in the accent you're learning, understand it, learn it, adopt it, and try to use it as much as you can in your speaking, no matter how fake it sounds. Acquiring an accent is a slow process. It takes time. It's at least going to take 3 to 6 months, so don't rush it. Follow these 3 steps, repeat them as many times as it takes, and stick with them for long enough, and you will learn your dream accent. If you enjoyed this video, then you might be interested in that video as well, in which I talked about how I learned to speak English like a native. This video contains more information on how to use connected speech properly, how to connect sentences smoothly so that you have this fluency that the natives have. Okay, I hope this lesson was helpful. See you in the next one.